All right. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. This is a great day, and because we get to recognize some very accomplished students, and we really, really look forward to this meeting each year. So we'll start with that, I guess, the superintendent's report.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Great to see everyone here tonight, and welcome to everyone watching on our live stream this evening. First and foremost, I hope everyone had a great spring break. Hopefully we will see some improving weather soon. I always like to ask the seniors, so how many days left?
25. Nice.
I knew it. Never fails.
22.5.
Well, they nailed it to the half day. They're counting. Yeah, very excited to be here tonight, as Dave said, as we kick off celebration season for the class of 2025. A great time to celebrate the success of our seniors and to thank our hardworking staff and families for making these accomplishments possible. With that, I'm going to turn it over. I believe we have a state champion in the room. So I'm going to turn it over to our athletic director, Mr. Michael Roy.
Thank you. So I have the pleasure of introducing this gentleman. He is a junior at Vicksburg, and what a great story for him. The first day of bowling this year, for tryouts, he bowled a perfect 300. And the last day of his season, he was crowned a state champion.
Aww.
And with that, I'd like to introduce everybody to Jordan Butler. So Jordan is a multi-sport athlete at Vicksburg High School. He participates obviously in bowling, also in football. He's dabbled in a little bit of baseball and also some track. He currently works at Airway Lanes. He takes advanced math classes that he's very proud of himself and likes that. He's also involved with the Big Red Machine in our musical department. So Jordan is a very, very talented individual. So at this time, I'd like you to introduce to everybody who you brought with you tonight.
I brought my siblings, Bretta and Hunter, and then I brought my mom and my grandma, and then my coaches.
Mom is Danielle Wiggins and grandma is
Karen Wiggins.
Karen Wiggins. So welcome.
And then Coach Adams and Coach Mullins, and then Coach Melissa.
Our bowling coaches. Questions, anything?
Congratulations.
That's
Thank you.
great.
Were you nervous?
A little bit.
You want to tell them about the format real quick?
Qualified
at
yeah,
regionals.
I had to I qualified third at regionals, and then I qualified seventh out of the 6-game block.
Just tell them how many people were there.
64.
So when they qualify from the regionals, they take all of the top 4 or the top 7 from the regionals. They put them in the group to make up 64, and then they whittle it down. So then you were.
I was seventh, and then I had to win my first match and my second match, and then I advanced further into the top 8, and then top 4, and then final 2.
Maybe I'm not doing a good job. So when they went to 64, they cut it to
16.
16. So then when you go to 16, you bowl against an individual head-to-head. So when you qualify from the regionals for the state meet, there's 64. You're bowling against all 64, and they take the top 16, and then you place in a bracket. And then it's a traditional, what most of us think, tournament type. You bowl, you beat that, so 8 went to 16, 16 to 4, 4 to 2, and then those 2 bowled off for the state championship. So you want to tell them about your last couple frames?
I started messing up towards the end. Yeah, I got a little bit nervous, and then he messed up in the 10th, and I won. So worked out in the end.
So, thank you. We're extremely proud of Jordan. His state championship banner has been ordered. It's been delivered to my office. So we're waiting for that to get put up in the gymnasium with the rest of our state champions. So thank you for your time. Congratulations again, buddy.
Proud of you, Jordan. Well, thank you, Mr. Roy. We will now turn it over to Principal Adam Brush.
Never received applause before I get to speak. This is great. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill and members of the Vicksburg School Board for the opportunity to recognize and honor this incredible group of seniors. It's a true privilege to stand here today. Over the past 4 years, this group has accomplished some amazing things. The 13 students being recognized as summa cum laude graduates have each earned a GPA above 4.15. A clear reflection of their excellent academic performance. Together, they've tackled more than 120 AP and dual enrollment courses, which is no small feat. But their excellence doesn't stop in the classroom. These students are involved in everything from varsity athletics, band, choir, plays, and musicals. Many hold part-time jobs and still find time to give back through community service. Their drive and balance are nothing short of inspiring. Tonight, we are going to start with Kelsey Campbell. So, Kelsey is a 4-year academic award winner, NHS Leadership Award winner, GVSU Award for Excellence Scholarship Award winner. She's also the class president, student senate member, color guard captain. With all these activities, she still finds time to work at one of my favorite places, Bigby. So tell us about Bigby and working at Bigby. What do you like best?
Yeah, so I started at Bigby back in October when we opened in town. And what I like most is the experience it gives me in the corporate world and working with teammates and just working with the customers and learning the customer service side of things while also being a shift leader and learning how to manage people also.
Awesome. She's also volunteered for blood drives, freshman opening day, and the Big Read Machine. Tell us about your experience with the Big Read Machine.
Yeah, so this summer I volunteered with them 2 to 3 times, and I just really liked working with the kids and meeting the new generations in Vicksburg and just seeing their excitement for the bus itself. And the staff was really nice as well, and getting to know them and connecting with other people that I hadn't worked with before.
Awesome. What are your plans for next year?
I'm attending Grand Valley State University in the fall to study cardiovascular sonography with a minor in psychology.
Go Lakers.
Yeah.
All right. And who's with you here tonight?
My mom, Kara Campbell, and my dad, Kevin Campbell.
Congratulations, Kelsey. Thomas Christensen. So Thomas is the co-salutatorian for the class of 2025, 4-year academic award winner, 13 AP classes, also academic all-state in tennis and skiing. Thomas is also an Excellence in Education Award winner. Who is your significant educator and why?
My significant educator was Mrs. Porter, and I chose her because I had her for 3 years of high school, and I really loved every class I took with her. They were all challenging, and she pushed me to do my best every day.
Awesome. There's Miss Porter in the back. So Thomas, you're also a pilot. So how much training is required to be a pilot, and then what's the furthest you've personally flown an airplane?
Well, the furthest I've personally flown an airplane is Flint, which isn't that far, but I plan on going further this summer. And legally, you need 40 hours to be a pilot, but it took me like 80 because I'm kind of busy. Otherwise, I had to start and stop a lot. And I did my training with my dad, so.
Awesome. What are your plans for next year?
I'm going to attend Western Michigan University for aviation.
Awesome. Nice. Fantastic. And who's with you here tonight, Tom?
My mom, Kelly Christensen, and my dad, John Christensen.
Congratulations. So Ashley is a 4-year academic award winner. She took 7 AP classes at VHS. She's also working towards earning her EMT certification at KVCC. And she's an AP Scholar Award recipient. Tell us, Ashley, about the EMT program at KVCC.
Yeah, so the EMT program is probably the most challenging course I've ever taken in my entire academic career. It consisted of a lot of hard work and a lot of hours spent studying instead of hanging out with friends and doing other stuff that I like to do. But I really think it's been worth it because I thoroughly enjoyed learning to save people's lives, and I think it's a great honor to be able to be there for people in their worst moments.
Her favorite class is AP Bio. She likes to hunt, fish, and ride ATVs. She's also a member of the trap shooting team at VHS. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I actually just started shooting last year, and from the first time I picked up a shotgun, I just absolutely fell in love with the sport. Even though I did not hit a single target until like my third week. But luckily, I've had some really, really great coaches along the way that have just put in so much time and effort into helping me improve, which ultimately led to me getting my first perfect score yet that same summer and actually being recruited to shoot on my college's shotgun team in the fall.
Awesome. So what are your plans for next year?
I'm attending Liberty University in Virginia on a pre-medical degree and Air Force ROTC program with intent to be a trauma surgeon in the Air Force.
Awesome. And Ashley, who's with you here tonight?
My parents, Vaughn and Nikki Gerber.
Congratulations, Ashley. Scarlett Hosner, fresh from the tennis courts. So Scarlett is a 4-year academic award winner. She took 11 AP classes at VHS. She's an NHS student who is also recognized as Academic All-State in volleyball, tennis, and basketball. Scarlett's also an Excellence in Education award winner. Scarlett, who is your significant educator and why?
I chose my flute teacher, Suzanne Rucker. I started taking flute lessons the summer before 6th grade. I've always been drawn to the instrument. In middle school, when we had recorders, you're supposed to hold it like this, but I always held it like that. I don't know why, I've just always liked it. And since then, she's taught me a lot of skills, both music-related, and she's given me a lot of advice about how to go about things in life, not music-related. So.
Awesome. Scarlett, you were not only played, but a significant contributor for 3 sports. We mentioned them earlier. What is your favorite sport and why?
My favorite sport has always been basketball. I would always go outside when I was younger to shoot just for fun. And my time at Vicksburg has been really special too, because my team, specifically my grade, has made a lot of school history. We won the district 2 years in a row. We won the conference 3 years in a row. We won the regionals too. And this year was specifically special for me because it was my first year starting, and I scored 420 points this season, and that's 98 over the school record for most points scored in this season. So.
What are your plans for next year?
I'm going to play volleyball and basketball at Kalamazoo College, and I'm unsure about my studies, but I'm leaning towards science and math.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight?
My mom and my dad, Sharon and Jack Hosner.
Congratulations, Scarlett. Ethan Jastifer. So Ethan is the valedictorian for the class of 2025. 4-year academic award winner, 4.49 GPA, member of NHS, the Big Red Machine, and cross country. He's also a CAMSI research student. What did you like best about attending CAMSI? And then tell us about one of your research projects.
Well, I just really like the rigor of it. I've heard from a lot of alumni that come back and visit that it really helped them in college, and it helped them kind of feel a little bit ahead in some subjects that they might not have otherwise been. And one research project I thought was really cool was last year we launched a weather balloon to observe the solar eclipse from space. And unfortunately on the day we weren't able to get it up there, but a couple weeks later we launched it and we were able to observe the UV absorbance, and we caught really cool pictures of the planet's curve up on top, and it was super cool. Yeah.
Awesome. You are also an Excellence in Education Award winner. Who's your significant educator and why?
I chose my piano teacher, Ronald Chung. He has helped me a lot, not only grow as a pianist and a musician, but as a person. I feel like what he's taught me translates a lot outside of the classroom, more so than a lot of things I've done, to be honest. So I thought that was really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What are your plans for next year?
I'm going to be going to the University of Notre Dame, and I'm majoring in mechanical engineering on a pre-medicine track.
Awesome. Who's with you here tonight, Ethan?
I have my parents, Jim Jastifer and Lori Jastifer.
Congratulations. Lily Johnson. So Lily is a 4-year academic award winner. She took 8 AP classes at VHS. She's a member of NHS and ITS. She also earned the Global Seal by Literacy in French. Lily's also an AP Scholar Award winner. Tell us about this award.
Yeah, I took 4 AP classes last year, and at the end of the year, you take the AP exam. I believe it's if you get over a 3.25, like average, then you get the AP Scholar Award.
So, yep, your average on the exams has to be above 3.25. Your favorite class is AP Psychology, and then you also enjoy volunteering at the OEC for summer camp. Tell us about this experience.
I first started doing it through NHS because it had some really good hours for volunteering, but I really started liking it and doing it a lot more. They had a couple different options, but it was an art in nature camp for the kids. So we would just go, we'd get a group of kids and really like do the projects with them, and it was really nice, like learning about the kids, connecting with the counselors, and right here in town at the OEC.
Awesome. What are your plans for next year?
I'm going to the University of Olivet to study psychology.
Great. And who's with you here tonight?
My parents, Julie Kellogg and Daryl Johnson.
Congratulations. Lila Kling. So Lila is a 4-year academic award winner, a K-RESA Outstanding Achievement Award nominee, AP Capstone student. She's also been recognized as Academic All-State in competitive cheer and track. Competitive cheer 3 times and track 4 times. Also, a HOSA State Conference finalist. Tell us about that experience.
So me and my partner qualified for HOSA State Conference at a regional competition hosted at Kalamazoo Valley. And we placed, I think, 5th out of 12 teams. And then at the state conference, we were very lucky and we received 5th out of 61 teams. Nice. So it was a really good accomplishment. I think from my club through my K-RESA class, there were only 3 finalists that placed. So.
Awesome. You also help coach Rocket cheerleading. What do you like best about coaching the younger cheerleaders?
I really liked bonding and creating those strong relationships to make sure that they always had a person that they could come talk to. No matter what was going on in their life, they always felt they had a safe place at cheerleading.
What are your plans for next year?
I am committed to Spring Arbor University for competitive cheerleading, and I will be studying nursing there.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight?
I have a whole clan.
Oh.
So I have my parents, Jennifer and Joshua Kling, my grandparents, Brenda and Gary Kling, and then I have my aunt and my brother, Courtney Smith and Jasper Kling.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Victoria Langdon. So Tori is a 4-year academic award winner who took 9 AP classes at VHS. She's a member of DECA, Model UN, ITS, NHS, and Student Senate. She also won Best in Show at the Daft Film Festival. Tell us about this award and the film you produced.
Well, I ended up filming everything over the course of one day, Easter, with my nieces who did not know they were going to be film stars. We filmed everything, I edited everything, and I didn't know that it was good enough to submit to a film festival. My teacher was like, yeah, this is pretty good. So I did, and it was. So, and now I have a little trophy in my room, and it's really cool.
Also, you worked as a camp counselor at theater camp. Tell us the best thing about being a counselor at camp.
Well, I think it would be the kids, because I worked a whole bunch of years with all the same kids, and I got to see them learn and grow, especially when I worked with those same kids in the actual musical, the junior musical, and got to see them implement what we taught them at the camp there, which really felt cool.
Awesome. What are your plans for next year?
I will be going to Calvin University with a major in mathematics and a double minor in film and theater.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight?
My parents, Thomas and Susan Langdon.
Awesome. Congratulations, Victoria. Hunter Noel. So Hunter is a 4-year academic award winner who took 10 AP classes at VHS. He also earned the AP Scholar Award. He's a member of NHS and worked on the theater set crew. Tell us about your experience working on the set crew, and then I have to ask, what was your favorite show?
Yeah, we helped build all the set pieces that you'd see during the shows, and during the productions, we'd help move them on and off stage. And there's a bit of a learning curve to it, like when we hit a tree with an entire house and almost knocked it over, but it didn't fall all the way down. And I just liked meeting everybody in the crew and just seeing how everything we built over the course of a couple months would just come together and be used in the actual show weeks.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite show?
Yeah. I like Tuck Everlasting.
Tuck Everlasting, great. Hunter also volunteers at the Gospel Mission. What do you like best about volunteering there?
I just like helping provide the kids with just a bright spot in their day where, despite all the things they deal with, they can just kind of have a couple hours to just do some activities and learn and read and eat some snacks and just have fun together.
Awesome. What are your plans for next year, Hunter?
I'm attending Western Michigan University to study marketing.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight?
My mom, Gayle Knoll, and my dad, Steve Knoll.
All right, Hunter Knoll. Congratulations. Allie Spencer. So Allie is a 4-year academic award winner who took 6 AP classes at VHS, NHS president, and received the French Global Seal by Literacy. Tell us about this award.
Okay, I think the test name is the STAMP test, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is. Okay, you take that test, most likely in your AP class, like when you're in 12th grade with whatever language class you're studying. For me, it was French. I took French for 5 years. I took it this year, and your goal is to get a high score as you can. And for me, I got a 5 on my speaking, listening, and a 6 on my writing, and a 7 on my reading. And so I was able to achieve the Seal Global of Biliteracy in French.
Awesome. Now, member of Aim Higher, Student Senate, ITS, but most people know you as Mary. What was it like being Mary Poppins on stage and flying all around this past spring?
Yes, I loved to be Mary Poppins in the musical. It was very fun, and I really liked the flying bit. So with the flying bit, you have a harness that you have to put on. So you have to put that on first. I had to wear 6 different layers of clothing, and it was really hot, very hot. I had to put that on, tighten it up, and then after that, we would do little flight checks. So we would go off stage before the production started, and then the lovely crew people got to hook me up, and we got to do little test flights to make sure everything was working properly and that I wouldn't fall off stage, because that would be bad. You don't want Mary Poppins to do that. And then after that, we just started flying throughout the show. So at the beginning, I got to fly down from the top of the stage down into the middle, and that was very fun. And then my second flight was when I got to fly off stage and leave those silly kids behind. And then I got to come back on stage during Let's Go Fly a Kite, and I got to hold a little kite and then fly back down on stage. Then at the very end, which was very sad but really amazing, I got to grab my stuff, pack up my things, and then leave. And it was very fun.
It's a great show. So what are your plans for next year?
My plan is to go to the CIA, but not that CIA. The Culinary Institute of America, and that is where I'm going to become a food chemist, and I'm going to go study into the culinary arts section, because I already do lots of baking, and I have my own baking business.
Say the earrings.
Oh, yes, the earrings, yes, and my pin. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do, food chemist.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight?
Okay, let's see. Jennifer Spencer, Chad Spencer, that's my mom and dad. And then I have 2 of my siblings here, Lillian Spencer, and then Isaac Spencer.
Awesome. Allie Spencer. Grant Van Wert, co-salutatorian for the class of 2025, four-year academic award winner, took 13 AP classes at VHS, academic all-state in tennis. You are also an Excellence in Education award winner. Who was your significant educator and why?
I also chose Mrs. Porter because she really introduced me to the field that I'm going to go into for the rest of my life. And all of the classes I took with her were really fun, enjoyable, and also challenging. So she was a really fun part of every day.
Awesome. Grant has earned his AP capstone diploma. He enjoys marching band, wakeboarding, hunting, and fishing. He also volunteered for the Miracle League. Tell us about that experience.
So at the Schoolcraft Miracle League, I work with developmentally delayed or physically disabled children and help them play baseball in a way. So I am with them in the field so to make sure they're safe in the field, don't get hit by any balls, or as they're hitting, I make sure they're safe with the bat, not hitting any other kids. And it's really
Nice.
fun to get to know all those kids because they're really interesting on the inside, and they have great personalities and are always really fun to be around.
Awesome. What are your plans for next year?
I'm going to go to Michigan State and study chemical engineering in the Honors College.
Awesome. Who's with you here tonight?
I have my mom and dad, Nick and Megan Van Wert.
Congratulations. Last but not least, Lauren Zano. So Lauren is a four-year academic award winner. She took 10 AP classes at VHS. She also earned the Global Seal of Biliteracy. Outside the classroom, she's actively involved in marching band and competitive cheer. Lauren also competes as a pole vaulter on the track and field team. What's the highest you've cleared so far in pole vault?
This past January, I got 9 feet 6 inches.
So almost over a basketball hoop. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are your goals for this season?
Well, the school record is 10.5, so I want 10.6 because that means further scholarship for the school I'm committed to. But I think it'd be pretty cool to get a school record with like my sister.
Awesome. So what is that? What are your plans for then next year?
Next year, I'm committed to Spring Arbor University for pole vault. In the Honors College, I will be studying exercise science with an OT track.
Awesome. And who's with you here tonight?
My parents, Chuck and Arizano.
Congratulations. Now, we had one senior that wasn't here tonight, and that's Sydney. Sydney was a four-year academic award winner. She took 10 AP classes. Her favorite class was AP Calc, and she kind of smiled. She liked it because she found it was easy, but she knew it was hard, because people struggled in it. She also liked Mr. Ream. She also enjoyed working, going to the gym, and snowboarding. Fun fact, she moved to Florida her junior year and then came back to Michigan. Her plans are to go to Western Michigan in the fall.
Nice.
All right. Outstanding seniors for the class of 2025. We do have some important dates. So senior day of service, a week from Friday. Then we have the last day. Anybody know your last day? It kind of breaks my heart a little bit. They're counting down the seconds. And then we have graduation. When's graduation? You guys are right. And then this commencement ceremony, we know it's going to be outside because the weather's going to be great at 7 p.m. in the stadium. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill and Vicksburg School Board.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to all of you. I don't really have any words. This is just completely impressive. And I know you all are going to do great things in the future, so best of luck. We look forward to seeing you at graduation and obviously the honors night as well. Keep up the good work. You make all of us very, very, very proud. Congrats.
Okay. The whole community is very proud of you. The school community is very proud of you. You've got a lot of proud parents and family members here as well. You know, you're all very successful academically, but I think more impressive is the breadth of what you've done and the volunteering and the kind of people you are. And that has, parents, you may not have been able to help in AP Calculus very much, but you certainly molded these kids to really be goal-directed, hardworking, persevering, care about other people, empathetic. And it's very impressive. And you as family members and parents ought to be very proud of the children that you have. And we're certainly very, very proud of them. And I know no matter what field you go into, and that may change between now and when you graduate from college, and that's an okay thing, but just looking at the breadth of what you've done and your experience and how you try to help other people out, you'll be successful no matter what you do. And we're very proud of you. So I know there are photos to be had, both by family but also official ones for the school, right? Where do you want them? So to the courtyard, and we'll do that. Do we have more awards to do now, or? No. Okay, so we'll do that right now. We'll take a little bit of a recess here so that people can accomplish that. Okay? So we'll recess for a little bit.
In decades. My
So how
kids
about
went
you? I mean,
really
how's the league level?
I think
It's
we'll,
pretty decent.
But it's
now that
nice.
the
Yeah, oh, yeah.
parents and students are out
But I like
getting
the Kalamazoo
photos
Valley Museum. We
taken.
go there all the time. Yeah,
I got to
yeah.
knock harder.
It's great.
There we go. I think we've got everybody outside doing pictures that are well-earned, but I think we'll proceed with the rest of the superintendent's report. So Keegan, if you want to pick up where you left off.
Thank you, Dave. Still very quiet in Lansing. The new legislature still finding their footing, and they are spending the majority of their time working on versions of the budget. We continue to talk about the budget process that's going on in Lansing. Projections, again, it's going to be slow. It's going to be a slow process this year, and the chance of us having a budget by July 1 those chances become more slim, it appears, on a daily basis. And again, we do have another consensus revenue conference, I believe, coming up in May, Steve, and that will give them a little more information regarding some of the numbers as the budgeting process unfolds. Also, just real quick, I wanted to touch on this. I think we've all seen lots of cuts are being implemented at the federal government level, including cuts to the U.S. Department of Education. Lots of speculation on how that's going to affect some of the federal funding at schools, but all it is right now is speculation. So I will certainly keep you posted if anything concrete emerges along those fronts. All the associations are keeping an eye on it for us. And just one last thing I'd like to add. For many, many years, and for those of you that have been on the board for quite some time, one of the biggest arguments from the public school level has been funding for colleges and universities as part of the school aid fund, which was designated as a K-12 fund for schools, but it continually, post-secondary dollars continue to come out of there. There was a House joint resolution introduced by Representative Tim Kelly that would remove university funding from the school aid fund, projected that could free up as much as $500 million for the K-12, for K-12 schools. More to come on this in the future. This would require 2/3 of the legislature to vote. And with that, that would allow it to actually appear on the ballot in front of voters in November of 26. So we do have a ways to go, but lots more discussion is going to happen on that level. I just wanted to make sure that I stated publicly I am very heavily in favor of this resolution. And I know when I go to Lansing at the end of this month, I'm hoping to learn more about this proposal. And also, last but not least, I'd like to draw your attention to the important dates. Next Monday, very exciting time for Vicksburg Community Schools. The Celebration of the Arts will be held here at Vicksburg High School beginning at 5:30. That will showcase all of our art programs, K-12, everything from film and video to visual arts, music, band, choir, the list goes on and on. 5:30 it starts, and then I believe the big show in the gym starts at 7. That is correct. Thanks, Dusty. 7 o'clock. So come on out Monday, celebrate the arts. They're very vibrant in our schools, and I'd like to just take a moment to thank all of our art department teachers for their hard work and also their dedication to setting up this evening. It's going to be quite special, I'm sure. So hopefully you can come on out. And then as Adam mentioned, Senior Day of Service, the 25th. That's an awesome day for our seniors. If you can at least just get out in Vicksburg and watch them all over the place, cleaning up, doing things for the community, it's a special day. And then for those of you that knew Ed Knapp, legendary coach, legendary teacher, but a better man than many that I've met in my life. Just a great gentleman. They're going to honor, rededicate the field, the baseball field. We got some new signage up there. It looks great. So we're rededicating the Ed Knapp field, and that's going to take place on the 26th. And then just last but not least, if you look there in May, we'll cover a lot of those at the next board meeting. But one of the another senior highlights is the senior walk, where all our seniors will walk through all the elementary schools and the middle school. It's a very special day. That's going to take place on Friday, May 9th. I would ask the board if you're interested in attending some of those, let me know. We generally try to get to a couple schools, and it's always cool to see the seniors go back to their elementary schools. They have big smiles on their face. And last but not least, graduation is May 22nd. I know we'll talk about it at the next board meeting, but please keep that on your calendar. And with that, that's my report.
Great. Let me just say a word about Celebration of the Arts. I believe you're doing it every 3 years, Dusty? Every 2. Okay. And it's really, they do just a wonderful job of showcasing every group from little kids to the seniors in the high school, and they move it along really efficiently. It's just really well done. And it's a marvelous thing for internal recruiting, because if you're a 6th grade band member, you watch in awe to see what the senior jazz band is doing, and it's a wonderful way to keep that program going because the younger ones see what the older ones can do, and it's amazing how much more those middle school kids sit up straight and pay attention because they realize that they've got to come through, and there's other groups that are probably better than them. And also, Ed Knapp's legacy here in so many sports, and then he came back and helped coach his granddaughters in softball. Just a wonderful person. And then I love the tradition that was started with the senior walk because those kids walk through, and I think that those elementary kids are in awe.
They are.
It's like, whoa. It's like VIPs, like movie stars coming back. And what an example because, I know Mike over at Toby has used those kids to come back and say, what I learned here, that's what made me successful in high school, and that's a wonderful thing. So I just appreciate those things. So I believe, Steve, you're up next.
Okay, I just have two very brief report items this evening. I'll run through the budget progress report for the general fund, and this would include activity through the end of March. And just very quickly, revenue totaled just under 23 million, 22,980,935, or 63% of the original budget. On the expenditure side, year-to-date expenditures, 24,960,433. There's a breakdown there. You can see instructional expenditures or direct classroom expenditures, I should say, totaled 13,164,000. Support services at 10,830,000. Athletics at 517,000, and community services at 448,000. So the shortfall of expenditures over revenues year to date is just under $2 million. We've talked about that a bit. There's a number of things that are affecting that. Of course, we do project a reduction in our fund equity this year, and stay tuned for June 9th. I believe, is the June board meeting, and a lot of great things that night. One of the things that's boring, but is important, is the budget presentation. So we'll be amending the current year budget and recommending the preliminary budget for 25-26, and we'll talk a lot more about, the assumptions that are going to go into that and some of the uncertainties. So continuing with general fund expenditures, second page of the report just breaks down expenditures by object code. Again, that total is at 24,960,433, and I won't read through it, but you can see there the breakdown for compensation costs, which account for over 80% of the general fund budget, and then you can see purchase services, supplies, capital outlay, and other. Are there any questions on that? Okay. Second item, just very quickly, is an update on investments that are held by the school district. These are broken down by fund. For a while, we had kind of a scheduled U.S. Treasury portfolio. We had some commercial paper, but at this point, we don't have any treasuries. All these funds are in liquid investment accounts that are designed for Michigan school districts and municipalities, so all the investments are legal per state law and very liquid. And you can see that the total investments at the end of March totaled $16,280,827. But keep in mind that most of those are restricted. We have right around $3.4 million in the 22 building and site fund and just under $6.7 million in the 24 building and site fund. So those funds are legally restricted for the bond projects that were approved by voters back in 2020. Beyond that, we have debt retirement funds that we just try to, we pay principal and interest twice a year, May 1st and November 1st. So any excess cash, we try to invest that while we can to, just earn whatever we can to help offset those interest costs. And so that totaled $1.1 million. And the general fund stood at $5.1 million. And again, all of those funds are liquid. And you can see that, the interest rates have been coming down. They're still very favorable. I would say from the school's perspective, at the end of March, there are two funds, and that they range anywhere from 4.25 to 4.41%. I looked today, and those have just ticked down a little bit, and I think that's a trend that's going to continue. Of course, there's a lot of uncertainty in the economy, but at least the interest rate market or the projections, there's kind of a high likelihood of it, maybe up to 3 rate reductions yet this year. We'll just have to see how that plays out. But we'll continue to invest and generate as much income as we can while we can. Below the summary of investments, there is just kind of a recap of investment income year to date, and that would be based on our fiscal year, July 1 to June 30th. So we've got 9 months in here. And I would just say that it's a significant amount, total year to date, $675,000, and of course that does not include interest that we receive on our checking accounts. So there's additional interest there. So, any questions on that? All right. If not, then that will conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate management of cash flow and to find ways that, any way that we can make tax dollars go further. That's fantastic. Sarah Dyer on the dairy bid. There she is. So this will be an action item later under 4I. So pay attention.
As we're wrapping up this school year, we are already looking towards next year. So we sent our dairy bids out for 25-26, and there's really only 2 companies anymore that are providing milk for schools. We do send one to Country Fresh, so this is the 3rd year that they have not bid. But we received a bid back from Prairie Farms and Cedar Crest, and Cedar Crest has been the company we've been using, and they are the current low bid for next year as well. So that's my recommendation. Any questions?
Any questions for Sarah? You're making it easy. Okay. Our next agenda item is for public comment. Meetings of the board are open to the public. It's the time the board conducts the business of governing the school system in the public arena. This is not intended as a meeting with the public with ongoing dialogue. Staff may follow up with you regarding issues raised during comment time. Please exercise decorum and respect laws regarding privacy and defamation. I believe we have Mr. Sears. I think you're the only one who signed up, and if you could come down to the mic.
I really wish I wasn't. It'd be nice to have somebody else be here at these meetings before besides myself, but I'll give it a shot. We use my phone here. I haven't started yet because we don't have a clock.
Okay.
I started reviewing last month's or last week's or whatever it was meeting, and 2 things jumped out at me. One was the history addition to our kids' classes, because our sophomores evidently only have 1 opportunity to get a history lesson, and that is just unacceptable to me. And for you to add as a board or curriculum, but 1 class because you took a poll of the students as to what class they would like. I can tell you I'm 62. Nobody ever asked me what class I wanted to take, period, nor should they have ever asked me when I was a high school age or any other age. That's your job. And so when you go ahead and you put something in there that says, oh, gee, I'd like to know something about what my mom and dad, I don't care, and you shouldn't either. You should pick that. The other item on the agenda was chairs. I don't ever remember when we did our millage that you said, gee, we're going to spend almost $1 million on chairs because every single chair in every single one of these facilities is junk at the same time. If I was to go to a board meeting, and that's what you guys are, and say, to the boss, we need to replace, in all our facilities, we need to replace all the chairs, it's going to cost us $1 million, here's the bid, and by the way, we went to a consortium, and we're not going to get any bids because the consortium is telling us this is the lowest price and this is what we should have. If you want to get bids for a chair, go to the consortium, get there, and then go get your own bids for a chair, and then figure out what they need to be. It just blew my mind, and I looked at the chairs on the packet. They looked like they're out of some kind of medieval torture thing. I mean, you would not want to sit in that for 1 hour, let alone 1 minute. The worst chairs that you could possibly think, little desks like this, it's amazing. But the most important thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that on our last meeting, you had an item that said that board members would, excuse me, from now on, they will distinguish between policy matters and operational issues that belong to administration. I'm not sure if anybody on here has ever been to a board meeting or any kind of meeting in business, but there is no way that you take anything to go to Keevan and say, gee, we'll just decide policy issues and let Keevan do operational issues. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever, our kids cannot get out into the real world and say, you know what, when we get into a meeting, we'll just go ahead and do policy issues and we'll let somebody else do operational issues. I've lost my time here, but this is the most ridiculous thing. It's your job. We're the boss. Keevan is our employee. Everybody else is our employee. We decide all of these things, not them. And I just cannot imagine for a second, and you know what, and I'm going to end with this. The other thing that said, you know what, public comment, always listen and act with respect. I see Mr. Keevan and a few other people, as I'm talking about this, won't even look me in the eye. And so they can't even handle it for a week. And they did the same thing with those kids here, too. Into their computers. That's disrespect. And that's not teaching kids anything. Thank you.
All right. Just a couple comments. One, the chairs were all piloted. People sat in those. Oh, did he take off? Oh, he took off. Okay. I won't waste my breath then. Let's go on to board action required. The first thing is for we have 2 different meeting minutes. We have our meeting of March 10 and the meeting of March 18. With the board's approval, we can, well, I guess we should do them one at a time. So let's do March 10 first. We have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Stephanie, I forgot to write down people, and Lisa, yes, okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. The second is minutes dated the 18th. That was our work session minutes. We have a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Tina and second by Ron. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and then 4B, approval of general fund invoices totaling $415,968.67.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
support by Stephanie. Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
And Rick?
Yes.
And yes. Next is approval of purchase card disbursements totaling $84,879.39.
So moved. Support.
Was that Stephanie and Tina? Okay. Any discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
I had,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Rick.
this might be a point of order. When I was going through that, it wasn't on a unique transaction, but the card holder is also the supervisor. So then is the person that is making the charges an employee of the card holder? It was a SOD question, segregation of duties. Just how do you guys do that?
It depends, but we have 2 people review, we have, in the buildings, the administrative assistant reviews and signs off, and then, we usually do a cursory review as we look through and just look for anything, but, the cards, can be used by other, employees in the vicinity, but
should always be that review between the card holder and the office staff.
Okay.
So,
I'm assuming you guys do some kind of corporate audit at some point, not of all transactions, but maybe pull a few and.
yeah, I mean, as part of the
for
annual
receipts and
audit,
all
we
that
do
kind of
that,
stuff,
and we, not anything really formal, but, we do scan down them and just make sure that the descriptions make sense and, that there's a clear purpose in that kind of thing, so, yeah.
Thank you. Because it sounds like, I guess, it also, that this may not even have to come to the board. It was instituted a couple of years ago or something, so I'm just.
Yeah, and we didn't, when I first was on the board, we didn't approve these. And I think it was, they just wanted to add another level of scrutiny, I think was the reason. And, yeah, and we can discuss whether it's worth our time to do that or not, yeah.
That would be helpful for me, and if it goes back to administration, that would be my
Okay.
Yeah,
prerogative.
we can certainly, I think, let's have some further discussion about that. And, it was oversight, but it's also a transparency thing, because we do run a lot of things through the purchase cards, and so, the check registers are posted out there, they're included in the board packet. And because, the purchase card disbursements, they can add up to, in excess of $1 million a year.
Yeah.
We just felt it was transparent to put those out there as well. But we can certainly have more discussion about that. Or if there's a different format, or, we can look at any of that.
All right, thanks,
So
Steve.
we're going to
Yep.
do that in a work session then? Discuss this?
Yeah.
Because I am in total support of
Yeah,
going
what-
through those credit card reports.
We can put that on the
It's
agenda
important.
for the next
Yeah,
we do.
work
I would,
session.
I would
That
just say
is-
if we want to do that, then where I work, we do it with our board as well. We furnish full receipts, because I just don't know what I'm approving ultimately.
Yeah.
So.
I think
Okay.
we had a motion and a second on that, if I
Yes.
recall correctly. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So, but we can put that and
Yeah,
discuss,
just-
is it worth doing? Yeah. Yeah, and, yeah, we'll discuss that. All right, so, Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
No.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
No.
And Dave, yes. Okay. Approval to extend the following administrative teams' members' individual contracts for the 25-26 school year based on evaluations 2024-2025. And we've got 4D is all of the building principals and assistant principals, which is A1A through 1F, and with the board's approval, we could take them as a group if that's acceptable to you all.
So moved.
It's moved by Stephanie,
Support.
support by Rick.
Boy, I don't know about this Adam Brush. What do we know about it? I know, because even Matt aren't sitting next to each other, so.
He even blinked twice if,
Stephanie,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Rick,
yes.
and yes. Next at 4D, we've got directors, supervisors, coordinators, and we've got 2A through H. And with the board's approval, we can do those as a group.
So moved.
Moved by
Support.
Rick, supported by Tina. Any discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. Approval of following non-line position contract for 2025-26 school year based on evaluations through 24-25.
So moved. For Tim.
Moved by Lisa,
Support.
or Tina, I'm sorry, and support by Stephanie. Any discussion? Tim's been there quite a while now.
Yeah, he has.
Okay. Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. Approval to extend the following contract as per contractual agreement. That's for our assistant superintendent.
Support. Or
Second.
moved, or whatever.
Okay, Rick and Ron, any other discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. Approval of the following staff retirement request effective June 6, 2025, and I'm just going to say we're never going to approve any of these ever. But there's a lot of years of experience, and I guess before we move on this, the people that are retiring, number one, I can't believe Amy Green is old enough to have been here 32 years. But the other is not only their effect on students, but your colleagues. You know, we had a presentation from a behavioral risk team, and Molly Beardsley was part of that, and her influence of that whole group. And I see Dave Smith's name on here, and the legacy that Dave has had, it's interesting, our current track and cross-country coaches were on Dave's teams. And why are they coaches now? They're coaches now because of their experience with Dave as their coach. And to see that legacy and those programs continue. But there's just some outstanding people here that we're sad to see, but we have to officially acknowledge them. We can't, indentured servitude apparently is out of fashion now, so we can't make them stay. But
They can volunteer in the future, though, right?
Well, that's true. That's true. So we do need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second. Tina and Lisa. And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item 4H, approval of resignation of Megan Neal effective June 6, 2025. We need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Tina.
Support.
Support by Lisa. Any discussion? Okay. Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. Item 4I, approval of the dairy bid from Cedar Crest Farms, which we just heard about, for the amount of $98,182.40 for the 2025-26 school year.
So moved.
Moved by Tina.
Support.
Support by Lisa. Any
Let's get some milk.
discussion? That's right, let's get some milk. Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
And Rick?
Yes.
And yes. Item 4J, first reading of following policies. Policies are reviewed periodically by Neola for us to make sure we're current with the state laws, et cetera. And so with the board's approval, we can take items 4J 1 through 6, which would be the first reading, and so they'll come next month for a second reading. So if there's questions you have, we can address that in the interim too. So we'll need a motion on that.
So moved.
Moved by Tina.
Support.
Support by Stephanie. Any other discussion? Okay, Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes. Final item 4K, second reading of the approval of the following policies. That's K1 and 2. Do we have a motion on that?
Motion.
Lisa?
Support.
Support with Stephanie. Any discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And yes, so the motion carries, and with that, we'll be adjourned, and we'll plan, I think our work session, because of the Festival of the Arts, will not be on Monday. It'll be the Tuesday following, and we'll make a point of putting the purchase card thing on that agenda then. Okay? All right?
That'd be great.